EdTyll. You may not like what he says, EdTyll, but he'll say it anyway, EdTyll. He's the baddest cat around, EdTyll.
Rob says to me
the sharpest tongue in town.
yesterday, he goes,
All the news and storylines. Through all the
David, is it Bobby?
there's a voice in the wilderness.
He goes, Bobby from Federal Hill wants to call in. I go, that's great. I can't wait till he calls. Yeah, I love taking his phone call. He's a great guy.
EdTyll. You may not like what he says, EdTyll.
So Rob says to him, you're all good to go. Ed's looking forward to your call. He says you can call, he'll call you at about 10 after the hour. I had said, sure, I'd love to begin the show with him. He goes, yeah, 10 after. I look back and I go, oh my God, he's right, isn't it? Now, look what's happened here. It's 13 and a half after the hour. Yeah, it's the end of the internship today. You're both gone, yeah. You listen to John. John is singing about the EdTyll show from 1987. Isn't that crazy?
You may not like what he says, EdTyll.
He wrote it. He was in town from Swaziland, visiting in Atlanta, I believe. I think I got it right.
He's got the sharpest tongue in town. EdTyll. Oh, you may not like what he says, EdTyll. He's gonna say it anyway. He's the baddest, EdTyll. Yeah.
God bless us all. Tiny Tim, huh? All right, look. First of all, you two. It's been a fascinating learning experience with you. I don't know if we maybe learned more from you than you have from us, but already the phone is going, so let's go to the phone. Forget about you. We'll talk about you later. Right now, we have visitors at the gate. It's area code 407. Let me see who this is.
Yeah, I'm looking for the baddest man in town.
It's Al the mailman stopping by. Is it? Is it Al?
No.
No.
This is Bobby from the Hill.
Oh, it is Bobby from the Hill. Yeah, you know, Rob said to me to look forward to your call. This is great. What are you doing today? What kind of weather are you? We're overcast and cool for some reason.
It's sunny up here, about 70 something. Good weather. Anyways, Ed, I was thinking of you the other night after we spoke because you know I was on the Fire Stick on TV there, the Amazon thing, and I was plugging through to see what I wanted to watch, and I hooked into Brotherhood. I don't know if you ever seen Brotherhood.
Brotherhood. It sounds like a maybe a police show. Brothers in the yeah.
It's about two brothers. It's about all. It was filmed all in Rhode Island. In it's got two brothers. One was in the mob, and the other brother was a politician. Great show. It was on for a couple years. On I think it was 208, 209, 208 to 210 on Showtime, and they filmed it all in Rhode Island. And it's like a lot of it's filmed up in some of the areas that we talked about. You know,
Federal Hill. Yeah, Federal Hill.
Yeah. So it's all, you know, some of these shows, they come into an area and they film. They do a few scenes about a week, and then they go back to Hollywood or wherever the studio they're going to make it. But they were there for quite some time, and all the filming was on location over there. So it's all like authentic, and you see like the old factory mills where they were where somebody was getting shot or killed, and they dumping the body and stuff. So it's a unique program. You might want to check it out.
I will. Exactly what you're describing there. This whole recapturing of, what the buildings and the time period look like. This is maybe between you and me and the wall, maybe this is the one good thing that film can do now. Film has become a garbage dump for somebody like me who loves movies. I love movies. It is very hard to find a truly well done film with any element of surprise or, genuine storytelling. These are all the most important things for me. And what you're describing is also like something else. Maybe you've heard about it. Have you heard about this thing called The Irishman?
No, but I might have heard of it, but I never watched it. If it was a movie.
No, it hasn't been out yet. It's just about to come out. That's why I'm telling you about it. But it does exactly what you were just describing. It's going to take you back, and it's going to be authentic on location.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because Ed, as I'm watching this program, The Brotherhood, there.
Right.
A lot of those houses that I see, those houses I've been in, because they're using like these areas where being a probation officer, I used to go in some of these houses, or I seen them on that street where I was going in some other houses.
Wow.
So as soon as they film, they go up a street or something in Federal Hill, or they show like maybe you know a little bit about this because maybe they have the same thing on New York. The New York system hot weenies. They got like a few joints over there that filming like they're meeting the politician in the movie. The program's meeting with another politician in some seedy hot weenie joint. They call it Oneyville, New York system. I mean, everybody in Rhode Island, if you ask anybody from Rhode Island, hot weenies, you ever been to Oneyville, New York system? If they've been around Providence, they've been in that joint.
That's wild.
So, you see that stuff on there. But you know what? I heard you the other day with a couple people callers, and one of your callers was talking about the Cowstills. Actually, the Cowstills, they are from Rhode Island originally.
I had no idea now. This is, wow. Okay. From Providence, like everybody knew them?
No, the Cowstills were from where you're going to go, I believe where you're going to go next summer, Newport. They're originally from Newport,
No
Rhode
kidding.
Island.
No
was
kidding.
The family, the Cowstills.
Now, if that's where you grow up, do you have to be well off to live in that area?
Where the Newport?
Yeah, I mean, so the Cowstills were not struggling hand to mouth, is what I'm asking.
No.
Right.
No, because the Cowstills started out, that was a family music thing. Was all the people in the band were family. And they weren't wealthy or anything. They just had a band, and it's a family, and brothers and sisters and stuff. Something like that. I think that was kind of almost like some of that was made up to be like the Partridge Family. I think that might have been something like a takeoff on the Cowstills.
That became sure. It's a business model and a model for your band, right? Get your mom and get your... Well, I guess it was the next logical thing, right? Because Mom, in our day, when we had a band, right? Anybody who's listening in your 50s, in your 60s, if you had a band, usually Mom had only one job, to say, no, you can't have band practice. Your father's taking a nap. Or turn it down there and don't let the drummer play and turn off the amps and then you guys can practice. That was what Mom's job was.
Yeah. So, anyways, they're originally from Rhode Island. And another band, I don't know if you know them, they're originally from Rhode Island. They grew up in Rhode Island. Then they moved to Massachusetts. They were in whatchamacallit, they played in a lot of the sounds. They were in some of the soundtrack of Saturday Night Fever, Tavares.
Shut up! Come on, I'm a big fan. Heaven must be missing an angel, and that angel is you. They had that song, but they had about 3 or 4 of them when I used to spin in the club. My God, Tavares! It's all anybody wanted to hear was Tavares.
You know, the first song, Tavares, people don't understand is that's not their original name. Their original name was Chubby and the Turnpike.
You know what? I knew that there was another name. Now, the name that we do know, the Tavares name, I thought that name came off of the town that they come from.
No, that's like their name. Some of those guys, I don't know if they're all, but some are brothers and a couple of them are brothers, cousins, and that's
kidding.
their like name. Those guys are Cape Verdeans.
So is that right?
Their ancestry is Cape Verdean.
Hello. So let me get this straight now. Tavares is actually, and is that the right way to say it, by the way? Because there were a lot of variations on pronouncing that name on the air.
Yeah, it's Tavares. But actually, they grew up, when they were young, they grew up in the same section I grew up, and that was called Fox Point. That was in Providence. In the olden days, actually, it's down like Fox Point, kind of like borders like where Brown University is, the Ivy League school. And in the old days, there was like the waterfront down there, which they revitalized now. But that was all like, that's where all the Cape Verdean people lived. That was like the waterfront. Many of those guys that were stevedores, longshoremen, that was their jobs, their family history and stuff.
Hey.
So actually,
Right.
Actually, whatchamacallit is he's from Rhode Island also, and he's like he's not Cape Verdean, but he was like probably like related to some of those guys. Not the Tavares, but people that are from that neighborhood. His name is he's another singer. His name is Jeffrey Osborne. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Hello. I know Jeffrey Osborne over the years. Come on.
Yeah.
He's a great singer. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, sure.
He's originally from Rhode Island. Actually, his cousin went to school with me. He used to play on the baseball team in high school with me. But just to change the narrative here, I'm going to tell you a story.
Hey, let me break in for a second. Let me just tell everybody what's going on and get myself oriented here too. We're this is terrific. You're new to the format here. And you're wondering, first of all, where is he doing the show now? He doesn't say call letters. He doesn't say Delaware anything, 105.9, nothing. He doesn't say Starcom anyway. He says say Starcom all the time. All right, so both areas. Let me cover all of this for you. By the way, that's Bobby on Federal Hill in Providence, Rhode Island, a great caller. I interrupted him just to let us know what we're doing. People coming in. You can't say tune, but you could, because anything today means that. So you're tuning in online. How about that? I might say it that way, the allergy. He cut the grass yesterday. And I love the guy. He's terrific. He hadn't cut the grass in so long. It has been a nightmare of we have a green cloud around the building. I drove up today. The car, in goldenrod season. You know about this? In the fall, right now, actually in a lot of areas, because the climate change, which has nothing to do with you. You didn't do it, by the way. Climate was changing before we got here. You didn't do it. It is changing you. My listeners, our people had nothing to do with that, but another topic. So the allergy cut grass thing is insane, and you're hearing that. You're probably going to keep hearing it. The only good news about it starting early, it'll end early. Hurricanes, we're going to get 2 big ones this year. You're going to hear about those. We're right in the middle of Hurricane Alley. So, new format. Not really. It is and it isn't. I love Dan and 1059. 1059 was a formatted, situation. I slightly altered that format. To me, it's a big priority to have guests on the show. Yes, I love callers, and I also love to, freestyle and not have anybody in my way and moving commercials at my own discretion. I love. So all of that, all three now, you get every day. And then the bonus is you get a guy like you're listening to right now, Bobby. You get this guy. You get Rob. You get Tom. You get Frida. Tomorrow, Dr. Frida. I'm in love with Dr. Frida. You get the idea? You know what's going on. He's having Dr. Frida on the show. It's just like his dentist. Yes, you've caught me. Secretly, I am having a virtual, in my head, I'm companions with Dr. Frida on one island, me and her on an island, and, a few little gazelles running around. And then on the other island, it's me and Dr. Reddy, and we're all going to have a lovely change in humanity. We're going to start the big change. So that's a little different. Haven't done that on the other stations, right? And on video. No, how do you like this video thing? I love it. Don't you love this video better, say, than a couple of weeks ago? I don't want to pick on anybody's video. This is a little better video. All right, Bobby's probably saying, oh, my God, how long is he going to keep me holding over here to get straightened out? You got to open the books and get straightened out, isn't it? That's what Joe Pesci and Bobby D, that's what they do. They open the books. They get you straightened out. So I was telling Bobby's telling us about a great film shot up in his area, a TV show, actually, Brothers. I was sharing with him any minute the movie The Irishman is coming out. I think, correct me on this, a film festival is going to kick it. They're going to kick it with De Niro's maybe, or one of those on the East Coast, right? Kick it. And then it's going to, I don't know, somehow it's getting to the theater, but it's going to be theater and Netflix. And because he's saying Brothers is on Amazon. You know about that? Of course, you two. You two are leaving us. Wow, our last week with you and you, huh? Look at, we're going to break up that little romance. Yeah, you say that, but no, brother and sister, of course, all the way. Well, you've struggled. That means you've learned a lot, but because you've struggled, we've suffered. So don't forget to look out for us. Don't forget to feel indebted to us. All right, good. All right, so you good on the break? At 12:30 is good. We're good on everything now. We're all caught up. All right, back to Bobby. Bobby is a great caller. I tell you, this guy is... you know what I love about him? You notice how he's very descriptive. He's a good storyteller, this guy. In order to really do your job as a good talk show caller, you have to have a way with words. And it doesn't come from the classics. It doesn't mean you got to read Beowulf or anything. It just means that you got to be a good communicator, which oftentimes you learn not in a classroom or from books, but you learn it from being around interesting people. All right, let's bring him back. Are you still there? Did I lose you?
I got another story for you. When I was talking about Tavares.
Yes, I love this. Now, when I was a DJ, I played Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel by them. What was their other hit? They had two monster hits.
Yeah, well, they had quite a few hits. But anyways, one of their first hits, a lot of people never heard this one, but it was a song called Check It Out.
Check It
I don't know
Out.
if you ever heard.
Check It Out. I remember Check It Out. I was in a I was in a record pool. So I was getting this stuff sent to me promotionally.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to give them $10, and they would send me like 15, 20, 12-inchers with all this stuff in the promotional. I got none of the advertising, none of the cover art. You know what I mean? I got literally just the music. Right.
Yeah. So anyways, Ed, I'm going to tell you a story. One day I'm in my office. This is an office in the urban area. Actually, the office was where I grew up. They had... gave me your office over there and set me there, probation office, and I was working over there. So I'm like sitting in the office. It was afternoon, kind of dead afternoon, sitting there doing some paperwork and stuff. And actually, the office was in the boys' club. It was like on the upper floor in the boys' club. And I got my door closed in the office, and all of a sudden, this kid knocks on the door, and he says, I see the kid. I said, I know this guy. This guy is kid I used to coach in basketball, when he was small. And he's got some black guy with him. And I looked, and I kind of looked once or twice, and then he comes in the office, and he said, hey, I'm going to introduce you to this guy. And it was like heaven coming true. It was Chubby from Tavares.
Get out of town.
I swear to God,
What?
he brought him. He brings him in, and he introduced me. We started talking. I said, big fan, going back and forth for like about 15 or 20 minutes, and then they left. They took off. But man, that was such a surprise, and it was so exciting to meet him, because you see him in shows and you see them on TV, and actually that was a little bit after that, Saturday Night Fever. They was like,
oh my God, they were giants. Yeah, you met them when they were huge. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
so it was something else, and so it was like a good experience.
Oh,
and
it's
another thing I
fantastic.
wanted to bring to you, 1980, where I grew up, Rhode Island, a nightclub opens up. Okay, 700-seat nightclub in East Providence, Rhode Island. You can check it up. You can check it up to see if it's legit. What I'm telling you.
I got you. All right.
And the name of the nightclub is Center Stage. They started bringing in acts. It was like heaven. It's like you fell in heaven. It's like heaven. Almost every night. If I name you this, 1980.
Right.
Group comes in. Nobody knows who this group is. It's just a rock group out of Ireland. U2
Oh,
in the
my
700
God,
seat
they're
thing.
great, right.
The guys are they were nobodies then. They come in, go up there and see them.
Wow.
It's like you never thought the guys are going to be as big as they are today, and they were there. They were there in a 700 seat thing. There's probably like about 250 people in the nightclub there, or the show place. If you've seen the names that came through there, it was like every week, Ed. Every week. U2, Joe Cocker, Wilson Pickett, Spyro Gyro, Billy Preston, James Brown. I seen Average White Band there. I seen Gil Scott Heron. They were all there. Maynard Ferguson every night.
Oh my! You're killing me with the Maynard Ferguson. Now I'm a big fan of his. Wow.
How about October 1980? Blues, Buddy Guy, Junior Wells, John Lee Hooker. Oh man, it was insane. It was insane. It was like I fell into heaven every night. I knew people that worked there. They'd say, "Oh, this group's coming in. When you're coming up, oh yeah, I'll be up there." Every night, just about. You couldn't believe they couldn't do that today. They couldn't do that today.
Well, two things, right? It'll never be the same again. Never. You can't make this happen. Two things could never happen again. First of all, you gotta have the Renaissance. The Italians were very lucky when they had theirs. The whole world wrote it up. The whole world wanted to know what was going on right there with this one group. What did they do? The same thing with rock music. And really, you mentioned Wilson Pickett, guys like that. Come on, man. That's more than just rock music. Now you're including all the people that inspired the rock music. How did all these rock and rollers get all hot and bothered? What got them? All the tough guys, right? What weren't they called? What was the word back in the day? Teddy boys. In England, they were Teddy boys. In America, they were like Brando. What are you doing? None of your business. How you doing? Who asked you? That guy. A chip on his shoulder. So you got to move that caliber of individual, right? Because if what you have is, I don't want to pick on today's music. There's great music today. You got to go looking for it because there's a lot of music. There's a lot of places to get music. But for us, if you looked at the mainstream of music, you just rattled it off from Spyro Gyra to Wilson Pickett. Then you turn left and you're on the Ed Sullivan Show with the Shirelles or the Diana Ross. It was one fantastic talent after another. It was incredible. So you got to have that, and you got to have the economy of small. We now live in the economy of huge. Then everybody wants to pay micro because they have a device in their hand. But the idea is huge today. Everything has to be global. Everybody has to watch the same website. It's insane. So that, what we have today, would never support the system of the 1960s. But of course, they burn it down in our face right now. They probably take a machine gun and shoot us for having the 1960s. Oh, you exploited all the talent. Oh, you did this with the girls in the bathroom. Yeah, you know, they're going to start with this. They hate everything, and they're going to wind up hating what made them. I hate to tell these kids, you start hating on everything, you're against everything, then what are you? Then you have nothing to start with. So we were different than our parents, but I don't think that we really thought that our parents brought the curse of slavery and we had to wipe out everybody who came. This is insane what's going on. So it's hard to have any kind of musical renaissance in a world that sounds like now. You and I came up in a world that sounded like the Byrds, and very few trucks, and very few smokestacks, you know, per square mile. Now they're everywhere on top of us.
Ed, you said the Shirelles. Actually, they had a show one night there, the Shirelles. It was a double show. It was Freddie Cannon was one of the people, and the Shirelles was the second part of that show.
I remember we had a place in the Bronx. It was called the Fantasy East. And it was winding down when we got to drive. When we got to be like 16 and a half, 17, it was not in decline, but it wasn't like your description of your joint. But we could tell that we were in a place that had been like that. We could tell. We saw the posters. We saw the past was all over the wall. So we were just my particular age was a little bit young for the kind of stuff. Like my cousins were crazy on this stuff. My cousins, probably like you, tempted to go to shows 3-4 nights a week. Always a show.
Hey, Ed, they couldn't do that today. They'd have to have the metal detectors on the front. They'd have to have all this stuff. It's a different world today. You know, they couldn't go in there. Those acts, for you to get in those acts today, you probably have to pay like $75-80 a ticket to get in there and see it, with inflation and everything.
Well,
then it was like $20, $15-20 to see these guys, and
well, you
really enjoyed it.
You're making a great point here. It's actually a great topic for another time. Take some calls on this. This kind of live entertainment experience, boy, you rattled off so many great talent there. My good friend Buddy Guy, you mentioned, blues player. The experience of getting, I don't know, within 20 feet of a guitar player, of a vocalist, in a room where a fantastic talent is performing, and it's 500 or it's 250 even, and you're having a personal experience. Yeah, there's amplifiers and lights and dancers and all, but still, between you and the star, much older than me, it would be seeing Chuck Berry, seeing Elvis. Not just from 500 feet away like a little speck and the sound system is all you have, but we are actually seeing them. Now, I had this experience with Led Zeppelin. I had this experience with The Who. Much later, I did not have this experience with Nirvana. But I did have this experience with the early Pearl Jam. So I did see what it was like for a younger generation having it again. And it's still the same thing, but you have to get within proximity to them. This is even the thing about Woodstock. A lot of people did go to Woodstock, but the 40,000 farthest participants did not have the same experience that the first, say, 2,000 had. The first 2,000 people closest to what was going on at Woodstock, they actually saw Jimi Hendrix and The Who and Creedence Clear. It was conveyor belt of greats. So that breaks my heart a little bit. Talking to you, you get this even more than I do, and I'm kind of envious of everybody you saw. Then I'm thinking of these poor Generation Z kids. Right now they're 15. Maybe they're 20, going to college, finishing up high school. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know who you'd get all excited about. I'm sure they do. It's not like there'll be nobody for them, but they're not getting the parade of incredible, off-the-chart creatives that we did.
And Ed, this was like a classic joint. This was 700-seat place. You can check it out on the internet. 700-seat place, and it was it wasn't like a nightclub. It was like a lounge type thing, like tables. If you wanted to order a drink or whatever, the waitress bring you to the table. So there was it's not like everybody up in front of the stage yelling and screaming. It was like a low key, really enjoyable experience to watch the band or the group or the musician play and enjoy it, and it was like a nice environment, and the acoustics was excellent.
There you go. That became a big deal in the 70s. Just there's the word. We used to go to the Academy of Music in New York. We used to go to. I'm trying to get all the venues off the tip of my tongue right now, but they'll come to me. All of the venues that use the word acoustically I know, the Felt Forum. The Felt Forum was acoustically perfect. These were all where the structure of the room was such that when they strummed the guitar, when they hit the bass drum, everybody got some piece of that action. Oh yeah, no, I that's the way to do it. That's a musical conservatory usually has a room like that. I believe that St. John's on my campus, I believe we had a performance hall like that. As a matter of fact, yeah, I love that.
The Redmond.
Yeah.
But anyways, Ed, there's only a couple more things. I just wanted to say you had a couple people on the other day, and they were going through movies. They had an extensive knowledge of the movies as well as you did. I was amazed that people know this actor's name from 1950, 1960. I was amazed with some of that guy. I don't remember which guy it was. I think it was one of the guys was one of your old listeners from 105.9 Delaware.
Yeah, his name is I believe you're talking about Tom is the guy.
Yeah, he had extensive knowledge of some movies, and then
he's got great. He's
like
like me with the movies. He sponges. I'll watch a movie 15, 20 times if I like it. I don't care. It still entertains me. I still love the music or the action or the lines.
That's why I listen to you, Ed. You guys got extensive knowledge. You're bringing it out, and I love it. It's so much better than a regular radio. I know you when you were on that other radio station, but I mean, it's not like a radio station. You can get in deep in conversation and bring a lot of knowledge.
I'll be honest with you. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you mentioned that. I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple of days now. God bless you. You say this just momentarily here. It opens up a whole thing I've been looking to do here. So, first things first, you're fantastic. What are you doing after we're done here? What do you got going on for the rest of the day?
Guess what I'm doing, Ed? I'm heading to the movies.
Oh, beautiful. You got me. I'm envious. Bobby, take care.
The movies, Ed.
You got it,
and
baby.
The other thing, and there's one other thing I wanted to just drop in your lap. It was, I heard you talking to some guy yesterday about going to the movies, the cheap movies. And where I come from, they still have a movie theater, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's, when the movies just leave the big show, like the Cinemark or whatever, and they go to this place. You get to go to the movie. If you missed it in the $10 movie theater, you can go over to this theater on Tuesday, Wednesday. It's $1.99.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? I should drive up just to get the deal. I would have so much fun going to get that deal that I would spend everything that I would save going to get it. Beautiful, Bobby. Thank you. You're a great caller, great friend of the show. I'm glad to have you along with us. Yeah, you brought up such a good point. I'm going to thank you, but I'm going to go off on your point right now. You don't mind if I do that?
All right, take care.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
man. You got it. All right, let me straighten him out. There you go. Beautiful. Thank you. This is such an important point. We got to spend some time on this, people. Do you got a time check? Get a time check on this. We'll put this on the website. Ooh, EdTyll on his own website twice. First, he's on there live doing a show. Then EdTyll has a video of himself doing his show on his website. Oh my God, how do you need glasses to watch it? All right, look, this is important. Okay, we have a call coming in. All right, I will get to it momentarily. First and foremost, we always go to the phones at area code 917-310-1976. We got that number by random. That is not a number we selected, but that is our number. On the air, 917, which is New York, 310-1976. Easy to remember. All right, let's say hello. Can I tell? I can't tell who it is. Area code 302. It could be Tom.
You're correct. My ears were burning a couple of minutes ago.
You just got you are awesome. You just got shouted out. I think it was a complimentary shout out, but nonetheless you were shouted out. Yeah, go ahead, baby.
I've been called worse by better, I bet,
Hey, there he is. Here's my buddy. Whenever you need to be in a good mood, you need this guy to call your talk show. Because no matter, we got struck by lightning and got knocked off the air yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, man, all of a sudden it was a loud boom. Then there was a flash we were in Iraq. It looked like outside the window some IED went off. And then count of two. First, the radio goes. Then the rest of the power goes. It was fascinato. It was only about 11 long, infuriating minutes, but it did happen. So welcome aboard. The good ship EdTyll is back.
I heard you talking about entertainers at venues and everything, and I can springboard off that a little bit. Growing up, my family and I spent our summers in Atlantic City, maybe 2 or 3 times, and we visited a place called the Steel Pier. And you probably heard of it anyway.
Honestly, not to interrupt you, I think my Aunt Addie went on a couple of romantic walks in the vicinity. Right. I don't want to give away any family secrets. Keep going.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
But I always forget some of the stars I saw there. They were either coming or going as stars. Let's put it that way. However, from 1964 to the early 70s, we spent 2 or 3 times down there per summer, 2 or 3 days sometimes. And how about Little Stevie Wonder? Teresa Brewer.
Oh my God, little
Stevie Wonder.
Little Stevie
got
Wonder.
his autograph and everything. He was in his little white dinner jacket and.
That's Ed Sullivan. That's Ed Sullivan days. I'm sure he was doing Ed Sullivan playing down at the shore. Yeah. Oh man.
The Fingertips Part 1, right? Or Part 2. Fingertips Part 2. Excuse me. But they put him behind every instrument in the band. He played it.
Right.
I remember that, but I always forget somebody. My memory is pretty good. Teresa Brewer, Brenda Lee, Alvino Ray and the King Sisters. Stop me when something interests you. Davy Jones.
Hold on, you gave me 2 already. Aldo Ray. I know Aldo Ray is an actor. Hold on.
No. Alvino Ray.
Alvino Ray. Not related.
And the King Sisters.
Completely unrelated to Aldo.
he had Alvino. He was God, Tom. You know, you got to get these teeth fitted right. You can't get them out of the catalog. You know, you got to get them fitted right. That's a Milton Berlesburg, 1947. Thank you. What? He had a band, the Alvino Ray Orchestra, at one time, and he had Twangy, the talking guitar. You could go on YouTube and look for.
Oh, wait, I know guys that would do this, right? They'd make the guitar sound like it was talking, saying words.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, who was the guitarist that did it? Who was the dude doing
Alvino Ray.
I'm going to find him. We got to find this guy. Yeah.
Actually, it was his wife off stage doing the voice. But anyway,
good night, everybody.
I don't want to.
Yeah, was that also from Milton Berle? Good night, everybody. Yeah.
Are you still there? Okay. Oh, gosh.
I am still here. I did not say goodbye. I was jokingly saying good night. Yes.
The Ides of March vehicle.
Oh, come on. One of the greatest songs ever. I think it's illegal now, isn't it? That song twice got caught in the politically correct wave of what's happening. But I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you want to go. I'm your vehicle, darling. By now, I'm sure you know that I love you, need you, want you, gotta have you, girl. Great God in heaven, you know I love. Oh, my God.
I got Candy, a lovable guy. I guess that was kind of to get her in there, you know. I Candy. That's not nice. But not to mention Duke Ellington, but it was one of the times he was bankrupt. It was just Duke Ellington and his baby Grand. You imagine you're 9 years old and you're looking at Sir Duke up there playing his baby Grand and the A train. You don't know what you're looking at, you know, but later on you gain to realize that Chuck Berry, you said it, that's what made me flash back to me. I saw Chuck Berry up close. We got like 4 or 5 performances of him. Yeah, my mom really loved it.
If I was a little bit older, but my cousin Gregory saw everything. He's the guy that had the MG and went to Woodstock and got turned down by my mom. Aunt Tina, can we take Edward to Woodstock? And I think I'm going because I figure my mom can't say no to him. And my mom said no to him, and I didn't go. But he went and saw everybody. Like, there wasn't anything that happened. That's what they used to call it, too, in Gregory's day. It was always called a happening. We're not just going to see the Rolling Stones. We're going a half day early because it's a happening, is what they used to say.
That was a triple bill with the Duprees and the Dovells. And you got Chuck Berry, too, you know.
The Dovells. Wow.
The kids in Bristol are sharp as a pistol when they do the Bristol stomp. That's what I heard.
That's great. What were you paying?
Yeah.
What were you paying for? What were ticket prices on these shows back in the day?
Well, you know what, Mr. Till? My father worked at the Delaware Memorial Bridge.
Wow.
And he carried a badge. And we go around the back. He flashes his badge and say, "I work at the bridge. Can you let me and my family in?"
Wow.
That's what back when that was back when people did you favors and you knew everybody, you know.
Yeah.
And
right. That's a cool dad. Has that job.
My dad spent his misspent youth in Atlantic City working in the fancy hotels and restaurants. He knew all them people, you know. All he had to do was drop a couple of names and flash that badge. And, "Yes, sir, right this way," of course, you know. That was so... Oh, well, I'm probably halfway through the names, Ed. I could go on, but...
I got something for you.
Yes, sir.
Last night, in the middle of work again, I find myself now doing a last batch of what's going on around 11:30 at night. So last night, I was catching up on news. The news finished on the DVR, and it went to the next movie automatically. So I didn't really pick this in the moment. It was in the queue. So I look up, and what's happening, Paul Newman is in the drowning pool,
Oh yeah.
and room is filling up with the water. And him and that little woman in her little skivvies. I think it's hilarious that it's an action movie, right? They're almost getting killed there. And
It's a sequel to a Harper. The movie he did, Harper. He's playing the same character.
I
don't
remember.
mean to
You know what?
digress.
Look at you. Look at you. You are phenomenal. Wow. I even
Yeah.
know what you just referred to. Harper's another film.
Mm.
So here's what I thought was hilarious. You're looking at a movie. You're taking it seriously. I am. They're captured in a room. I mean, the movie's called The Drowning Pool.
Yes.
They are caught in the drowning pool. So they're in it. Now the bad guys have been torturing them. And now the bad guys are coming back to start more torture. But while the bad guys went home to sleep, Paul Newman decided to flood the drowning pool so he and the woman in their skivvies could get out. All right, that's the plot. What is hilarious, I mean, it's life and death, you know, they try to not die. It's a serious movie. But what's hilariously funny is their skivvies. He's got on, like my grandfather's boxers that have no elasticity at all at his waist. She is wearing something like out of a Vogue magazine for lingerie. Also looks like it's got the tiniest of rubber bands. And yet these three elastics are holding perfectly no matter how they dive and go underwater. Then they're lifting. Then he's turning valves. Then he's trying to break windows. And everything is perfect except that underwear elasticity. Not the underwear itself. The underwear itself is pretty nondescript. It's old school. What's hilarious is the thinness of the elastic band and how it defies all physics while they're shooting this in a real location. Like he is in a tank of water. Those are bubbles coming out. I mean, all of it's real except how they stay dressed. Because there's a scene, it must have been very provocative, you know, for the director who puts it in there, where he decides, Paul Newman, this is how we're going to get out. So he needs the clothing to jam the drainage. You follow?
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Right.
Come back.
So he gets to say, without sexuality at all, no sex involved, he gets to say, all right, take your clothes off. And she goes, what? Yeah, take your clothes off because I'm gonna save our lives. Hilarious, right? That she has to strip down to nothing. Now the director's a genius because you haven't seen them naked for like 2 minutes, but they're working like hell to not die. Oh, it's a fantastic movie. So I was thinking of you. I said, well, you know, Tom, I'm sure, has seen The Drowning Pool, but if I'm lucky, he hasn't seen it in a while. That way I'll talk about it, then he'll see. So do you recall this film at all?
Yes, I do recall it. Anthony Francioso was in it.
Look at you. He's playing, Francioso is playing an ethnic character that he's a good actor because he's not instantly recognizable, even though he's a movie star. The movie opens up, you see him on screen, and in the first couple of scenes, he's I don't want to give any plot away, but you know,
Right.
he's a guy who's instrumental to being adverse to Paul Newman. Paul Newman's going to investigate something. Tony Francioso doesn't want it to look. Go ahead.
Cajun, if I'm mistaken. He has a thick Cajun accent.
You got it. You know, you are fantastic. Jeez, oh, Pete, you're good. So, yes, he's the whole thing is shot. I love the movie for a million reasons. I lived right near that airport. I lived in Kenner. I lived in Kenner, Louisiana. As I worked in downtown New Orleans, I drove 18 miles on the I-10 to work every day. But in this movie, even more fun, if you've ever been to New Orleans or Louisiana, you will remember right next to the airport is a big bridge, big causeway. And I love causeways. You know, it's a thing in Long Island when I'm a kid, Florida. So now I wind up living next to on my side, on the mainland side, on the Kenner side. But nonetheless, it's the view. You go out on your balcony at night, and what you're looking at is the causeway.